everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Shalom, Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Gentlemen.
How are you, my friend?
Quite well.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to stay tonight. Probably again. Holy shit, man. We just got bombarded over here with snow. No school for your kiddies tomorrow, Jay.
Probably not.
How lucky you. You know, as a father, you got to be loving having the kids around so much.
You know, Gab saw a Facebook post. Some dude compiled how many days they actually went to school since December 1st, and I forget what it was.
Is it absurd?
I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to bring it in tomorrow.
Okay,
I'm going to let you guys, take a guess. It's remarkable.
Bring it in. That'd be interesting. It's kind of like when every once in a while the stats in reality blow your mind when it's like, yep, some guy sat down and went through an NFL game. There's 11 minutes of action. Right, and you're like, what?
How can that be?
No way. How is that possible? So anyways, you guys have a good weekend?
It's great.
Good. What'd you do? Anything fun?
Lots of soccer. Actually, I watched a lot of soccer too. I'm digging that YouTube Live thing.
Oh yeah, you got that.
Yeah, that's streaming. So
is that $40 a month or something?
Yes. And I missed watching the beautiful game. I watched a ton of the World Cup. Haven't gotten back into it since then. So I've spent a lot of the weekend watching Man City.
I was going to say Man U. I like saying Man U. Getting into Man U.
Easus is like, you know what, dude? I would probably follow the game more if there was like a home team to root for. And I'm trying to get Easus to pick a team.
What did you tell me to pick?
I told you either Liverpool or Man City because you're a front runner.
Right.
Yeah. Liverpool. You seem like a Liverpool kind of guy.
Liverpudlian.
Well, I told him I didn't want Man U or whatever, just because I don't want to be that guy. That all of a sudden,
Man City. Man City's totally
Man
different.
City is different. Okay, I don't even know. I didn't even know. Didn't know the
and
difference.
they're top of the table, so you could be that front runner
guy. There you go.
Well, I was watching the Allied. Oh, the
Allied Football League or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that. This is even more farcical when they call it football. There's no kickoffs, no extra points.
Yeah, I
Only
didn't
time
watch...
they kick is to punt or for a 3-point field goal.
Well, it's weird. It's kind of just like a development league like the NBA would do kind of thing where basically I was reading about it. I didn't hear shit about this.
Yeah, it was not well publicized.
No.
I heard about a week before that it was coming out.
I got a tweet and it was like, hey, you watching the game tonight? And I was like, huh? Like I didn't, I don't watch much network TV at all. And so I really didn't know anything. And so me and T-Roy put it on and it was just like instantly I'm like hardcore, San Diego fan, like they were playing. So it was like, oh yeah, that's my team right there. And it's just like, what? I'm screaming at the TV,
Come on, Johnson.
Jesus Christ, make a block, Smith. What the fuck are we doing out here? Just mocking
Where were they playing?
Hardcore super fans all of a sudden. On a football field.
No, I know, but
quite entertaining.
What stadium?
I don't know, dude.
Was
they
it
were playing.
small?
They were playing
like
Vegas. Those fucking cheating pieces of shit.
Really?
Can't stand that Vegas.
But did it look like an NFL stadium? Did it look like a college stadium?
Yeah, it looked like no one was there. But I mean, but they're going at it
the brand
differently than the XFL did, where it's instead of having like, you know what I mean, Gene. This guy's got to get out there and make a tackle.
He hate me.
Yeah, exactly. It was like Mike Martz is coaching on this team.
Yeah, I mean that's Spurrier.
Yeah, they had like legit guys in the booth, and I was trying
Singletary?
Maybe
right?
that could be. I'm not sure who was calling last night. I was listening. I'm like, that's a familiar voice, but they're just calm analysts who know the game, and so who knows? But I was like,
so they're trying to foster a league like the USFL, where it's a spring league.
Sort of. They were talking about there's this gap when football ends where there's something that could fill that. And basically, it's kind of like Last Chance U, it sounds like, in a way. They wanted to give people like one of the guys that was playing for my favorite squad out of San Diego. He was like a linebacker. Yeah, well, back then.
Yeah, what colors are they again?
They're yellow and gray, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The other team was red. I did not like the red team.
God.
But it was like he went to Clemson for a couple of years and then was booted for disciplinary action and then ended up at some D2 school you've never heard of in a billion years. And then he got like a walk-on tryout with the Bears, and that's it.
But here he is making $3,500 a year playing for the San Diego Fleet.
The Fleet, yes, that's my squad. And so, but it's like, he's working at 2 men in a truck.
Okay.
And he gets a call like, yeah, we're interested in having you come out for this league. Quits that job fucking immediately.
Yeah,
He's
like the Kurt Warner situation.
Totally. And so it's for guys on their last leg or guys that maybe had all the potential in the world but just didn't, for whatever reason they fucked it up and now they're getting a chance.
So tell me if these teams sound familiar. The Arizona Hotshots, the Orlando Apollos, the San Antonio Commanders, the Salt Lake Stallions, Atlanta Legends, Birmingham Iron, and the San Diego Fleet. Yeah. What's up with Birmingham? I think Birmingham had a USFL team too, didn't they?
Maybe. Well,
Alabama needs a team.
I was
right?
gonna say they don't have a professional football team.
Well, if you notice, Atlanta's the only city, and when Troy was asking me like, how many teams are there? I'm like, I don't know, 7, 8 teams, probably 6 or 10 or something, you know. But I'm like, my guess is
Memphis Express too. I'm sorry to those Memphisies.
The Memphisians.
Yeah.
But all I could think was, there's no way they're gonna put one of these in a city that has a professional team, right? They're gonna do San Antonio and Birmingham, but Atlanta. Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is there. And Vegas has teams coming. So I don't know, man. But it wasn't terrible football. They appeared to still have some speed and some power, and we'll see.
Dude, the USFL was more successful than people realize, I think.
Dude, they were stealing drafts.
Yes, they were.
I mean, Jim Kelly.
They had legit Steve Young.
Yeah.
Bobby Hebert. Who can forget Bobby Hebert? Sure. No, they had some real legit teams and players. Herschel Walker came out of there.
Yep. And that was decision time because guys were like, we're getting these humongous, humongous offers.
Trump owned a team, right? Was it?
Did he? The Generals?
It might have been New Jersey Generals. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it was interesting to see that going on.
The other thing though is the XFL is coming back. Like that's coming back.
Yeah, so there's no room for all this. There's no way.
No.
As the NFL is dying, and then you introduce 2 new leagues. Come on.
Yeah, Bob Costas was trending earlier today
because the real reason he got nixed, it wasn't his pink eye that nixed him. Right. It was because he made comments about the concussions, right?
Yeah, he was critical about football as a danger, and that really does, if you think about it, put CBS or NBC, I guess he was with NBC, in a really weird position. I mean, they've got a $9 billion NFL contract, and here's your lead anchor going, this sport is dangerous as shit. Kids shouldn't play it,
Yeah.
And it's like, here he is set to call the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he'd been doing it for years. He'd been really critical for years.
Come on, Bob, toe the line, my man.
So it was Outside the Lines on ESPN, did a whole profile on him and, why he's not there anymore. But dude, there's a lot of people. I was watching some things over the weekend, and there's a lot of people who believe that within 25 years, this is going to be it's going to be shameful, and you'll be shamed even for being a fan of that sport because it's going to look like a gladiator sport. Like you're taking, because what the trends they're seeing is rich white kids are not participating. Their parents aren't letting them. But, parents that go, fuck, my kid's never going to go to college unless he goes on a scholarship.
No, that's what they say is the quarterback position will suffer first because those guys are just athletes with other options that could play hockey, baseball, whatever.
Sure.
And they're going to start to weed out. And then you're going to be left with, oh boy, now we're getting second tier kind of quarterbacking.
That's kind of an important position as far as sports go.
A little bit. Yeah. My God, how bad were the Memphis Showboats helmets? Could that be the dumbest helmet in the history of helmets?
Which one? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty. That's
awful,
bad.
Man. But look at these USFL San Antonio gunslingers.
Is that the Denver Gold?
That's the Denver Gold.
It's a pretty shit logo too. The Michigan squad had a really cool.
Yeah.
The Panthers
the Carolina
really did.
Panthers ripped that off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a nice silhouette of the Panther.
Anytime you see those,
that's the worst helmet ever.
Yeah. What is it? Does anyone know what the hell that is?
It's
a bunch of dicks. It's a bunch of dicks with heads.
Well, showboats.
It's a
right?
showboat.
You know how they
the water wheel.
The actual logo kind of explain. It looks that's kind of small, but
my God, that's stupid, isn't it?
That is so bad.
It's like a Chuck E. Cheese logo or something.
But you can kind of at least see what the showboat logo is supposed to mean. But it's a terrible helmet.
I don't know that I would get that until you guys explained it. There's a better way to show.
If you saw showboat though, if you saw the word showboat, you wouldn't get that.
No, I don't think I would have.
It's funny that these AAF cities are a lot of the old USFL, San Antonio and Birmingham and Memphis, Arizona.
Why did the USFL fold? Was it because of lack of interest or
I don't know, man.
Because that would be, those same cities are always vying for a football team, for a pro.
Oh, the Oakland Invaders. Remember that? Look at that. That's a great helmet, isn't it?
What is it?
Holding a lightning bolt?
Yeah,
I love that.
If you're down in San Diego, the Chargers, man.
It's so cool.
What's going on here? That looks almost Jewish.
New Jersey Generals.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool, man. I don't know, but I wasn't as disappointed as I wasn't laughing as hard, and I didn't watch too much of it, so we'll give it time.
It looked like your game, at least.
It did.
Resembled.
Sort of. I just don't know. But if you think about it, it's like these are guys that are, for the most part, probably legit, Division I college ball players. So if you like college football, it's going to be at least at that pace.
Hey, on the positive side, if the NFL starts having this situation, I mean, maybe more than ever, the Lions could have a chance at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
this sport might be done before the Lions get to a Super Bowl, dude. For real. Like, honestly, it's that bad. The stuff I was watching Outside the Lines, or what's the HBO one? Not Outside the Lines, but Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. They were doing some profiles on that stuff over the weekend, the concussion stuff, and it's like, dude, there's not a way out of this. And the more people become knowledgeable about it, and the more you see like inner city kids and poor kids, Mexican kids and black kids are dominating these, they're jumping into this sport, and the white kids are bailing at huge rates. It's just going to look gladiator-like. And so, yeah, it's not going to be cool to be watching that sport in a few years, unfortunately.
Hey, speaking of sports, college hoops are heating up, Michael. So stop by the Hamlin Pub to watch your favorite teams on one of their numerous TVs and enjoy sports specials like the $7 medium hand-tossed pizzas. They are delicious. Boneless wings or the Nacho Supreme. Of course, these specials are good. At all 5 Hamlin Pubs locations, Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and the 2 in Shelby Township.
I'll get to your weekend in a moment here. I know you were doing the thing with Darren McCarty. I want to hear how that went.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But Jay, I wanted to talk to you too about you were doing some other stuff besides soccer this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Percussion competition. Yeah, Manny. So Manny's in this percussion group.
Which I was kind of thrown. I was like, I thought he was a horned guy.
He's a horn guy in the marching band, but in the winter he's in this percussion group. And this is one of those things, man. Unless your kid's in it, you have no idea this shit exists.
Yeah.
But it's hardcore. Like, there's this whole thing going on, this whole competition, this whole competitive atmosphere that's just happening at like high schools around the area, and you're clueless to it.
With the snow, are they allowed to be involved in activities like that, though?
Oh, I know. It's
very, very dangerous.
Quite dangerous.
I didn't realize he was a percussionist, and that could be anything from a triangle to a full kit to
a gong
whatever,
to a triangle to a full kit. Yeah, no, these are like smaller groups of maybe like 20 to 30 kids, and they move around in a gym basically. I guess it's like drumline. It's sort of like a drumline type thing.
So you got snares. And
they've got the quads. They have bass drums. Yeah.
The cymbal guys.
Oh yeah, they have cymbal dudes. Yeah, it's kind of actually Wolfie and I kind of follow this because both our kids do it. So
you guys are in a book club together. You guys are in band camp together.
Yeah.
So what does Manny play? He plays the big.
He plays
drum?
one of the bass drums. There's usually 5, depending on how big the group is. 5. They actually have 6 in theirs, but.
And so I immediately go, oh, that thing where you just go boom,
bonk,
boom, boom, and it always appears to the untrained eye,
the amateur,
that this is easy shit to do. Like, oh, I could go out there and strap that thing on, walk in some circles, and bang on my drum. Like, you can see, it's obvious when you're looking at the snare guys. The rudiment shit they're playing is difficult. But I'm thinking,
I don't know if I'd have to ask him like what is the hardest drum out there to play? Because the bass is it's
more intricate than I bet.
It is way more intricate than you think, and it depends on which one you are. Like I said, there's usually 5 of them, and 5 is like the simplest, and then as you go down, like the 2 and 3, I think are the most intricate.
Really?
Because they all play.
Are they different sizes?
Yeah, and they all play the rhythm together, and it's really kind of crazy.
Yeah, and so what are they?
Bass features where they just focus on
go
the
crazy.
Bass. Yeah,
keeping weird time.
Totally. I mean, he plays his shit. I'm like, I can't even walk and chew gum.
Yeah.
Sort of dude.
It's funny. My dad sent me a link to something over the weekend. He's like, ran into this video. It's a producer who's a record producer, famous guy, and he breaks down he does these videos where he breaks down like, hey, what makes this song great? And my dad was watching this one on a Yes song, which is, Yes is a well respected as far as like intricate players go. And so he's like, I think you might be interested in this. And so I'm watching this shit, and it's like he's got other ones too. And dude, you realize when you strip nude a song to its bass, and it's like, here's the isolated bass line, look at what he's doing here with this and that, here's the vocalist, why this is so critical, why Kurt Cobain is so fucking good, and you really get to hear it, and little hidden instruments in there that you didn't even know was buried in the mix. You just kind of subconsciously pick it up. Like there's a cello in Jeremy by Pearl Jam. When you strip it all away, it's like you just feel this like vibration underneath the bass line and the guitar, and it's like, holy shit. because
Take it out, you'd probably
it's a
notice
different
it, right?
song, yeah, and you realize just how unbelievably good guys at that level are. Like you can't even comprehend like some of the shit they're doing, and you just don't know it. And Kurt Cobain to me was like a 3-chord bandit, but like he's like this guy was breaking down like, dude, Kurt Cobain is one of the greatest singers ever and one of the greatest melody writers ever, and here's why. And it's like those 3 chords that you're playing, most people would have to play 4 other chords to do there's a pattern to those things. Certain chords go with certain chords to musically be correct, and there's intricate names I don't know what they are, but it's like Kurt can just play that one chord, and then he naturally sings the chord above it and below it.
Dude.
And he's doing that with his voice.
That's what I was about to say.
And it's like, holy
a vocalist
shit.
who also plays is just, to me, astounding.
But most people
especially
don't.
Drummers that Phil Collins,
Yeah.
Eagles,
yeah, Don Henley.
yeah,
Mhm.
it just kills me.
Yeah.
How is your brain working like that?
Well, it's weird. It's weird because you're doing 4 different things with with each of your limbs, but it is kind of just like a rhythm thing. You just kind of naturally. It's hard to explain because I can't walk and I can't do the rub your head and pat your belly thing, but I can sort of play the drums a little bit. And but it's just I walk away from there just going, fuck, these guys are amazing. You think of them as the guy on the road who fucking gets high too much and drinks too much and fucks a lot of chicks, but it's like,
yeah, some of them. Well, the studio guys are the ones that impress you. Like some as you just described are just that. They're just on the road getting high and they're shitty players. Some of them.
Yeah.
But dude, like the Steve Lukather type guy,
right? Yeah.
Guitarist from Toto, co-wrote a lot of those big songs for them, and if you look at that book and you look the
last third of the book,
third of the book is an appendix of all the songs that he's played on, including all of Thriller. He did all the guitar parts in Thriller, and
that's disputed.
No,
but
he absolutely claims it was him and not Eddie Van Halen
that did the Beat It solo, the famous Beat It guitar solo in Thriller, in Beat It on the Thriller album.
But he talks a lot about just there was this LA scene where that's how Toto the band really came together. Those guys were just really great studio musicians who would play for other people, and they'd sit down and just bang it out, and they were known as the best technical players. Mm-hmm. And then they put themselves together and obviously made a few really good hits.
Well, playing like in a club, like you're the Ramones, and you go in there and just fucking punk rock it out, or Guns N' Roses with like a Steven Adler, who can go into a club and just play. But when you put someone on a clock, when you put them on a timekeeping, even if it's just 4, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and like, dude, that's really fucking hard. I mean, you saw how much trouble, what's his name?
Just Us
had with their drummer, Keith Bushy. I mean, Keith Bushy was falling off the fucking line like it was embarrassing. We were embarrassed for him. But it's really hard to do.
Well, Lukather talks about some of that.
Yeah.
He had to come in and clean shit up for people all the time.
That's why they called him in. Studio time is extremely expensive, and it's like, get Lukather down here. This motherfucker can't stay on time. Wasn't it like, didn't they do that with Ringo Starr? Didn't they boot Ringo Starr to the studio for something because he couldn't keep the time? What was that
part of the lore, I think, around the Beatles? That Pete Best was a far better drummer, but Ringo.
I thought there was a story we came across, gross, not that long ago, where it was like they told
it wasn't
Ringo,
told by Lukather, because Lukather is in the All-Star Band and has been a great friend of his.
What the hell was that? Where it was like, we asked him to go down to the pub, grab a beer.
I remember you telling me that you
time.
read that story. I remember you saying that.
And they brought someone in, and Ringo still thinks he's on the album. And it's like, no, dude, that is not you playing.
Well, Dave Grohl will famously play every part of his Foo Fighter albums.
Yeah,
those guys have to just story. Those guys are just like, okay, well.
The drum. I mean, think about that. He like recorded that whole first album or whatever, or that second album.
Dave just comes in. No, not good enough.
Dave just re-recorded him. Didn't tell the guy, and then they had to tell this dude. And Dave was like, "Well, you could still go on tour with us, but listen, I'm like literally one of the greatest drummers in the world, and I cannot have this shit on my record." And the guy was like, "No, I can't be. That's humiliating." And bailed, and that's when, thank God, he got Taylor in there. Yeah. It works. But
speaking of drummers, you guys hear Travis Barker on Ronan?
I'm going to.
I saw your text to Easus about that. I want to check that out.
Yeah, Easus. Travis Barker is the Blink 182 drummer, and he's really, really good.
He is. A lot of people think that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
I'm sorry, E. That just blows my fucking mind that you can follow that band, like that band, and not.
I don't know anything about music other than I like it.
I know, but I don't know how you hear him going around the kit and stuff, and really fast.
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Oof.
It doesn't. I don't know what to say.
all right,
Like, I just
all
don't
right.
pick up on anything musically. I love music. I will literally sit till 5 in the morning and listen to music, but I just don't know what's a good. I just know what I like in songs or lyrics. I don't know
Yeah.
what makes a good drummer.
I
over
actually
anybody.
watched a video of that the producer I was talking about. He broke down what makes this song so great. All the small
really?
things.
No way.
Yeah, he did, and he tore it apart, and he's just like, wow, to the fills. The drum fill. He's just like, dude, this is just fuck.
His drum fills are what to most lead guitarists are to bands. You know, I mean,
That's a great comparison.
It is.
Yeah, he's playing the lead on those songs, which is why it's so shocking. Like
that he hasn't
noticed it, and just go, I don't know music. It's like, well, most people don't know music, but that doesn't mean you don't hear.
There's very
Eddie
few,
Van Halen on the guitar or Travis Barker of all people on the drums.
There's very few meaningful guitar pieces in any Blink-182 songs. You know, other than just the rhythm.
Yeah, it's a very simple guitar and bass and vocal pattern.
It's always
and the
shocked me
drummer-
that Travis was in that band.
Yeah,
like
it's
crazy.
He is a legit professional studio musician, as good as they get, and it shows on every Blink song.
Yeah.
Every Blink song, he does something incredibly special, which is why I like the band.
But Rogan was asking him about Tom and his UFO
That's what I want.
shit.
That's what I want.
Dude, was it good?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
What was Travis saying?
He's just like, man, he's just 100% into it.
Yeah.
He's like, from day one when I met him, he was always into UFOs, and he'd be like, hey man, let's just get high and look for UFOs. He'd be like, okay. Travis was like, I didn't, I don't know anything about it, but I figured, all right, let's take a look.
You know, you can hear it in the lyrics. There are lyrics in the songs. It's like, yep, that dude, because it's like, I can't think of an example right now, but there's some trippy shit in there about alien life and space and
they used to always write things on their their like speakers in the back, and sometimes they'd say like boogers and shit, but his would always say like UFOs. He would always have something about aliens.
Yeah, I guess from day one. So it's not like he went off the deep end all of a sudden. It was like, I gotta quit the band. I'm crazy now. I'm a UFO guy. He was always like that, and he'd go searching for Sasquatch when they were like in the Pacific Northwest or whatever.
Tim came in the other day and he was like, you know what? I see what you're doing, motherfucker. He's kind of taking issue with me because he thinks I'm mocking when I'm like, the moon's fake, man. It's fake. Like he thinks I just got my toe in the water of conspiracies and he's really into them.
Yeah.
But dude, when guys get into that fucking world, it's like all of a sudden you're in on all of a sudden everything opens up and makes sense.
Yeah, right.
The government's hiding everything from you. JFK, fucking aliens, the moon, all of it.
All of it. It's
Sandy Hook.
Yeah,
9/11.
It is interesting that most of those guys don't just follow one and drill down on one. It's like their mind is just open to everything, and everything's going on behind our backs.
That terrifies me because I really think there's something up with the moon. I read like some of the shit I've read.
Nothing up with the moon.
The moon's fake,
man.
Dude. It's fucking fake.
You see, the problem is you're using the word fake. No, see, you're using
the dark side of the fake moon.
You're using the word fake like people use the word fake with wrestling, whereas in wrestling is not fake action. It's
I'm not
scripted.
saying it's a mirage up there. It's there. It was placed
so that's my
there.
point. You need to you need to say is that the moon is it's not fake, but it's not what we think it is. Is what you should say that you think
That's
about it.
Well, define what you think it is.
Well,
don't assume that we all think what you think
I
it is.
think it's our version of the Truman Show, man. They're watching us on TV.
Now that's okay to me. If that's a better explanation of what
Hope
you
we're
think
getting
it
good
is.
ratings. They'll cancel us, man. They're watching Detroit Cast TV tonight. Hi guys in the fake moon.
You think this is what they're watching? Out of all
Maybe.
the things on the planet, this is what they're watching right
They
now.
probably watched you shit on the driveway.
Maybe they did.
Guarantee they did. It's must-see TV tonight on the Detroit Cast channel. He shits on the driveway. They're promoting it for a month.
I hope so.
We'll see. But E, I want to hear how your thing was. And please be honest. If Darren fucking sucks, will you please tell me that?
No, dude, it was good, man.
This was your show in Grand
Yeah,
Blanc.
Grand Blanc. It was good, man. He it's weird because I've gotten to know him because he does the Grind Time podcast here and stuff like that, but I've not seen the show yet. He's been doing this comedy, and to see
He's
him
really into it too. He's having a blast doing it.
He certainly is. I think this is what I would say. Like, you can tell he's been doing it enough now, at least at some point, because he has the stories he's talking about, old Steve Eiserman stories or this or that. And he gets to the point where it's like, this is where he knows the end of that thing is. People are going to be like, hell yeah, or clap or laugh or whatever.
He knows where the sweet spot
which is harder to do than people realize. Like, it is harder to get to a point where they know and that this is the point where people are supposed
It's like
to.
a
So,
drug, dude.
Chicago hooker, where would that point be?
There's several points actually, but
I can point a couple out.
dude, but my favorite part in that story, honestly, is when I ask people whether the bum would leave or not. I always have someone in the crowd like, John, what do you think, this guy would leave or not? They usually say no, and I say like, well, of course he's getting live porn, but also, to be fair, I'm in his house and I didn't ask permission, and that usually hits pretty hard.
It's a great fucking line,
that usually
dude.
hits pretty hard.
My favorite part of that story is the one that you weren't able to preserve. It was the callback.
I wish I had. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
The guy called you after.
Dude, that is such a series of events that I don't
a customer service call.
You know, the reality is there's so honest to God, like if I was at a point where I could really, like I was just the guy, for some reason I was a national dude and I could really break down stories. There's a lot more to that story that it just doesn't fit in a story on the.
Well, you have to understand, like getting hookers, like the first 1 to 5 hookers you get, there's a lot of shame involved with that. You feel this overwhelming shame.
Well, what I was gonna.
But then it starts to normalize in your head, and then 5 to 10 is uncomfortable, but 10 to 30, now you're off and running.
Yeah,
and
so
so
right?
It's never been 10 to 30. But
E's first hooker, the guy calls like customer service, and E wants nothing to fucking. E's just like, I can't believe I did that last night.
But you know what though?
And deleted his message.
But
Jesus.
Well, like a thing in that thing that I just don't get into sometimes. Also, though, is
I've not gotten 30 hookers.
I've pulled out. At one point, so the guy finally is with me, and we're gonna make this happen. And I'm drunk as fuck, and I run into somebody. We're going to like find his girl. I bump into some dude, and this dude wanted to kill me. And the fucking pimp is the only thing that kept me alive, because he's like, he's with me, he's good. But anyway, it went great though, dude. Darren was it was cool to watch him actually do his thing.
Let me set the table for you, E. So Darren does like an hour plus on stage, and so E was going to be his 15 minutes, and there was the other guy in the middle. I can't remember his name. E, maybe you can help me out. That one.
Tony Vasek.
Tony Vasek. And so E ends up being the MC for the thing. Darren asked him to MC it, but before the show starts, right when it's starting, Darren comes out and will be like, "Hey everybody, this is for charity. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna come back and tell some stories, but first we got Big E from the Detroit Cast and
host of the Detroit Cast,
host of the Detroit Cast, and MC for the night. So I'll be back on stage in a little bit, but please take care of these guys, Tony and Big E." And so he introduces Big E. So
Which is
Darren
cool.
has now introduced Big E on stage. You can take it from there, dude. I thought this was hilarious.
I told Mike that I was thinking on the way up that if he had introduced me. So I did. He goes, and I go, "Shit, guys, that's Darren McCarty, man. I watched this guy, score the game-winning goal in '97. My parents' basement. It was fucking crazy." And I was like, "And I'll be sleeping in that same basement tonight." Life's a crazy bitch. Like
20 some years later, he's still in mom's basement.
Oh man!
And tonight, when I lay my head down, I'll be in that bed again.
It went over. The crowd was great though. It was a few hundred people, and
nice.
Yeah, that's for great. Real. And he see him in that element. He really, the people just fucking love him, and he hangs around after, and he signs autographs and pictures for anybody that wants it. It's cool, man. I'd recommend people seeing it. If you haven't seen him do it yet, it is cool to see it.
There is something special about it, because we know what it's like when Darren's here, and he's told us the stories. We've been out with him, and you hear these stories, and they're fucking amazing about Yzerman or Fedorov or the grind line. Like, he's got some incredible behind the scenes stories about in the hotel room after games or before games, or when they've got a fucking West Coast trip, and Yzerman's getting shit faced. Like, there's amazing stories, and he's really good at telling them. And there's something about it, like, you hear him and you want to hear him again, like hear him tell him again. So it doesn't surprise me that he can deliver that on stage, because it's fun, dude, when people that don't know him come over here and it's like, "Mac, you got to tell him the fucking Hasek story or this story," and they seeing people's faces light up. So.
Well, that's what I did. You know what? I very specifically because it was cool, because I got to do my thing, the pressure's off, and then I just got to sit there on a Saturday night and watch him do his thing. And I very specifically looked around and watched other people that are there, and this is their Saturday night, dude, and they're wearing their jerseys or their hats, and to see their expressions, and it for sure was really cool.
Did you think about heckling at all?
There may have been. You know what? I was gonna almost do this as a grievance, to be honest with you. Something came up that I could probably
grievance Jesus.
Sure. You know what?
I'm on the clock. Sure.
Grievances found Jesus. Here we go.
You pay to go to an event, and it's an open format. It's one thing, but for people, you pay to go to an event. Can you just listen to the dude who's doing the thing that everyone paid for? It's not your time to ask for very specific stories or yell out shit. So when people go to comedy specifically, these people that get drunk and just start yelling shit out, what about this?
Chicago hooker.
No, it's ridiculous and it ruins it for everybody.
Well, this is a tough.
I don't know what the grievance is, but
Well, I know what your grievance is. I feel like we've talked about this subject a lot because this is a giant pet peeve of mine. People in a comedy club that don't know how to act when someone's on stage doing their show and they can ruin it for everybody else. So I don't know if that's stolen.
I wouldn't say it's stolen. I don't know that we've talked about this at length. But Isis, is it just that it bothered, like you couldn't hear him? Other people couldn't hear him?
Here was my beef with, and that's why I don't even know if it's a grievance. Maybe I should just brought it up as what happened on Saturday. It's one thing, I think that most comics, if you're at Ridley's, you don't usually necessarily know someone's whole set or what, but Darren is a local guy. Everyone goes watching him. So we all can know to be like, well, what was it like in the fight? Or some shit. And when you got a guy up front row, just pretty much yelling out very specific things that he wants.
March 26.
What's he?
March 26.
Yes.
Yeah, and don't you think like Darren has a plan? Like,
right.
He's gonna present.
What do you think about Provert? And it's like, if
does it rattle? Does it throw him off? Does he address it?
What he ended up doing with this guy, I thought he handled this guy pretty well. I think the first few times he kind of gave in and said, "Don't worry, I'll get to whatever this guy said." And then the guy just kept doing it.
So Darren just kicked his ass.
He just
his ass.
Right, yeah. Next thing you know, he's got him in the turtle position, crazy. Everyone's just yelling, "Hell yeah, fight him!" Kick his ass. No, you know what he ended up doing? Is just ignoring him, which was good. Like the guy was just literally like, dude. I mean, it was like, "What about Probert?" or "What about this?" And it's like, dude.
Little alcohol involved, maybe.
Actually, the guy. I
hope so. You hope so, because if that's just the normal day.
I hate to do this, but so I'm in the bathroom.
Please tell me he's not one of our listeners.
No, he's not.
Okay, good.
Well, here's the thing. I'm in the bathroom, and he goes, "Hey, you were one of those comics up there, whatever." I'm like, yeah, man, blah, blah, and asked him out a little bit. What's the podcast you do? And I tell him, I'm like, do you ever listen to Drew Mike? Mike Walters, blah, blah. And then he starts going, well, you guys do graphic design? I'm like, do we do graphic design?
As a matter of fact, Jay and I were just talking about adding a new wing to Radio for One Studios in graphic design.
So I asked him twice. Like, what? What do you like? How so? What do you mean? I'm like, do you mean do we talk about graphic design?
A lot. It's coming. It's coming, folks.
And then finally he goes, no, do you guys need any? And I'm like, I mean, I
should have said need, right?
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Well, we got our own logo, and we got kind of our own logo and stuff. If that's what you mean.
Let me guess. He took that right away and went, "Oh, good luck. I hope you're happy with that," and walked away.
I had to kind of like, shit. You know what? I think Darren said I was going to get on stage at the end here real quick. So thanks though. I appreciate it.
He pushed you a little bit?
He kept kind of hammering about this graphic design, and I'm just like,
surprised me that this was the same guy in the front row that you described. It's crazy.
Who can't take a hint when the guy on stage is fucking being polite and going, "Yeah, we'll get there, pal."
Right.
Yeah, it's a really shitty thing when one guy dominates and is deciding for the whole audience what we're doing next.
Yeah.
It's just so unbelievably disrespectful.
And by the way,
bona fide, Isis.
I will say this.
I'm gonna say pussy and old man bigly, but I agree with you 100%. I hate that.
I anticipated this would happen, and it didn't happen. But I'll throw myself under the bus, knowing that just literally a few weeks ago, I got kicked out of a Pat Green show for standing up. So I understand that I could. But my answer was going to be.
Right.
But my answer to you guys was going to be as bad as what I was probably doing, obnoxiously standing up. It was a concert where there's music, and 90% of the people weren't affected by me. Versus like this is an intimate, quiet venue where some guy's just yelling things out.
You were thrown into this strange cultural situation in Texas where apparently everybody sits down during concerts. So you didn't know what to do.
Japan, isn't it? Wasn't that how it was in Japan in the fucking 80s? When
but I thought that might come up, so I had a defense of that if it did, but it didn't.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hey, everybody, due to the tremendous demand, Zott Ford and Holly is conducting its amazing Key for Key event. Again, exchange your current vehicle for a brand new Ford without spending a dime out of pocket. Their goal is to match or lower your monthly payment. Zott Ford will assist you in terminating the remainder of your loan or lease, no matter what you owe. Give them the keys to your old turd mobile, and Zott Ford will provide you the keys to a brand new Ford. Plus, Zott Ford will make your first month's payment.
Virginia has become a real issue here, Jay, as we well know.
Is the blackface thing still going on?
Yeah, well, Northam is trying to get out in front of it now. He's doing interviews.
He's trying to get out in front of it.
Yeah, he's the governor.
10 days later.
Well, no, he did his first interview today with Gayle King on CBS News, And it's like, yeah.
Gayle King.
I know.
What a hard.
He had to be lectured on slavery and racism in America. Yeah, boy, this is uncomfortable. But he is on there. He's like, well, it's been a bit of a difficult week. We could say that. And you know, you look at our history in 400 years. You know, the first indentured servants were brought.
He went into indentured
Virginia.
servants.
And she goes, "You mean slavery? Yeah. Some people call it slavery too. Yes,
Some
yes.
people do, yeah.
Yeah. Also known as slavery. Yeah, that would be. But he's trying to. He's like, but wow, we've made a lot of progress. And he starts bragging about how slavery has ended. Yes, that's true, sir. Slavery has ended. Segregation is not cool anymore. Making it easier to vote. Dude,
These are the
year
things
is
he's
this?
saying. Those are
Yes.
bullet points.
It is abundantly clear we still have some work to do, and I really think this week raises the level of awareness. Now, there's another chick that's come forward. You know, was it number 2 that was accused of rape? Fairfax, that dude.
Correct, yeah.
Another chick has come out and said,
Right.
yeah, he made me, he fucked my face too against my will.
Oh, man.
She's the lawyer said they're not giving out details, but said it's very similar to what happened to the other girl. It's like, yeah,
The push down move.
the push down move. So anyway, a poll though found that 58% of African Americans in Virginia support him. The
Yeah,
governor.
it's funny. You look at those polls, and most white people are appalled by it and want him gone, but black people, the majority, are like, no, he shouldn't resign over this. So it's funny that some of these social justice whiteys are.
I know, it's crazy, man. So yeah, Fairfax, that's the dude. He's like, I want a full investment. I'm like, do you? Do you want a full investigation? Because I don't know why these women who are on his side as far as politics goes, you know, one's at Duke with him and one's at the DNC with him, and they're like, what is the motive? I'm not saying he did it. I don't know. But in this hashtag Me Too, no, everybody's fucked world, I don't know how you survive 2 legit, what appears to be legit accusations, very specific ones with dates and everything. This woman, the new woman that came out, in fact, turned over her texts and emails with her friends from the time where she's talking to them about it immediately after it happened. So this was either a ruse set up years ago, or she just said, when that woman came forward and said that I felt like I had a civic duty to go, no. This happened to me. I don't want money. I don't want to do a fucking interview. This is all through her lawyer. She's like, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I want that motherfucker just to resign. That's what I want. And so I don't know where that goes, but you know, all of a sudden it's gotten really quiet over there because they do not want fourth in line getting that gig when all of a sudden a Republican's up at the plate, and it's like, oh shit. So now everyone's like, oh no, that's probably why a lot of people are like, oh no, Northam ain't that bad. I mean,
Right.
tied to a little bit of blackface, but you know, lessons learned, and
Lessons learned.
here we go. We're doing some good things. Anyway,
Probably shouldn't have gone on an interview though, talking about indentured servants.
somebody told him that was, you know, the next play. That's what we have to do, is get you out in front of this 10 days later. But
Yeah.
you know,
how
you got to
does-
say
how does
something.
an interview like that not turn into the, I have black friends sort of stuff, right?
I know.
Just seems-
And plus, dude, just a week ago we saw the guy fucking almost moonwalk
Oh yeah.
at the press.
yeah.
I mean, dude, that's what you're dealing with. A guy who almost moonwalked while being accused
I don't blame him.
of black. I know, but dude, that is. I mean, if his wife doesn't step in, this story is so fucking good.
Inappropriate circumstance.
Inappropriate circumstances. My wife just give you a little 1-2. That's it. Inappropriate circumstances, but hell yeah, I still got it. You see the demonstrators at the Guggenheim?
No.
Oh yeah, they're all pissed off.
The Goog. I like to call it the Goog.
The Goog. I've been there. I was there. Does it make me cool? It's kind of fucking ugly, dude. I gotta be honest with you. The Guggenheim.
Where is it?
It's in New York. It's the. You thought I was gonna go California, didn't you? You son of a bitch. No, the Guggenheim is right across the street from Central Park.
Oh really?
It's
Okay.
white, and it like it's just a spiral. It goes spiraling all the way up, like all
Sounds
these.
beautiful.
It's
The way you described it, it sounded beautiful.
it's the
The
Guggenheim.
spiral?
It's
Pull
right
it up,
down
Jesus.
right down the street from the Met. You can take in the Met too, the Metropolitan. There it is.
That's cool.
And the line, I bought a hot dog from a guy right here.
What's wrong with that, man?
Nothing. The line went here and all the fucking way down there because it was like free admission or
Well, you
something.
did. Wait a minute. Well, you did say there was. You thought
I
it was.
said it was
something.
ugly. I like it.
Well, get inside it. I don't know. It's if you go inside, if you got pictures inside it, you can see the spiraling. What that does. It's fine. Whatever. It's a famous museum. Yeah. It's just I don't know. I wasn't a giant fan. That's okay. You
Well,
guys
art,
go there.
I'm not a fan of art. I don't really give a crap about art museums, but it doesn't look ugly as far as the look.
From the outside, but
Well-
that's what it looks like on the inside. There you go. The whole thing.
I think that looks cool.
It's different. It's different. There's a little museum here, a little, buy your fucking trinkets and shit over there, and a little bar. I got beers there. I was able to get beers, so that was kind of cool. But they had protesters galore over the weekend, hundreds of them, and they were demanding the institution cut ties with this pharmaceutical family and the Sackler family. Have you heard of the Sackler family?
Is that the? I have heard of them. Something to do with opioids, right?
Yes, they are. I mean, dude, we should know the name. That's like Johnson and Johnson, Ford. You know what I mean? Like gigantic. They own Purdue Pharma.
Okay.
Okay, makers of OxyContin, and so they have literally made their 14 billion, low estimate. They're probably worth a hell of a lot more than that. Billions and billions fortune from OxyContin. They were a small player in the overall scheme of, the world of pharmaceuticals and stuff, and just a nothing little company, and then got Oxy or MS Contin, and then because I guess back in the day, well, I'll get into some of the stories. So these demonstrators are pissed off that the Sackler family, what they do is they want their name on everything. They don't want anyone to know they're associated with Purdue, but they've got a wing at the Guggenheim, and they're donating all this money like crazy to different famous museums all over the world, and they want everything named after them. And so people are like, fuck you. 200,000 people have died since your stupid drug came on the market. You haven't taken responsibility for shit. And so they want them to refuse donations from this family. So they've got these like prescription pads, and on them they look like doctor's prescriptions with OxyContin. And then on the back, there's different quotes that the family has said over the years, like something like, let's see here, 200 dead each day, shame on Sackler, take down their name. And so what were some of the quotes? Hold on. These were by Raymond Sackler. One reads, "We have to hammer on the abusers in every way possible. They are the culprits of the problem. They are the reckless criminals." So you're blaming the victim here. Another read, "If OxyContin is uncontrolled, it is highly likely that it will eventually be abused. How substantially would it improve our sales?" Nice. And so people are all pissed off about that, which I don't blame them, man. That this is so they want people to disavow from this family and get word out, which I think is not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Trying to take money from them. They've been given to, let's see, the Sackler Courtyard is newly at London's Victoria and Albert Museum. They say it's one of the most glittering places in the developed world. 11,000 white porcelain tiles inlaid like a shattered backgammon board cover a surface of the size of 6 tennis courts, intended to serve as a living room for London. In late June, Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, was summoned to consecrate the courtyard, said to be the Earth's first outdoor space made of porcelain. That's donated by this family. The Sackler Courtyard is one of the later additions. They've got the Sackler Wing at the Metropolitan. They've got the Sackler Wings at the Louvre and the Royal Academy, standalone Sackler museums at Harvard and Peking universities, and named Sackler galleries at the Smithsonian, the Serpentine, Oxford's Ashmolean, the Guggenheim in New York. Members of the family legendary in these circles. They've got the staircase at Berlin's Jewish Museum. So you can see what they're doing here. And and the list goes on and on and on. This is descendants from Mortimer. What a great name,
Mortimer. That's the best, man.
Mortimer and Raymond, these two brothers. They were like
those the guys in Trading Places,
right? I think you're right, dude. It might have actually been. So it goes on though that they've made. People have made billions from tobacco, cars, and firearms. It's not clear that any of those enterprises has generated a family fortune from a single product that approaches the Sackler's haul from OxyContin. So, yet nobody knows that they're a part of it. They're very private.
Right. The name rang a bell when you said it, but I wasn't totally sure. Interesting.
That's nuts. I don't know how you would have known that. Just probably in reading shit, I guess. But they don't call it Sackler Pharma. They don't call they're like, most families are really proud to have invented something or put something out there. They put their fucking name on it. We've seen it for eternity. Not the Sackler family.
But yet they want their name everywhere else. So how does that square? I mean,
They
what are you
said
saying?
there's 3 tricks that they're pulling off. 1, getting this drug out to the world. 2, getting their name out there in prestigious circles everywhere. And number 3, making sure no one associates the first 2 together. And that's what they've been able to do. So it's kind of cool that people are bringing light to.
Wouldn't it be a better strategy to just get the drug out there and lay low?
Yeah,
I mean, you need your name on museums and shit.
I know.
I don't get it, man.
I don't either. But they've successfully done it all these years. I guess.
Or is it just sucking up to people that like high society? So in their mind, hey, you know, these people that want to be in the elite, they've given money to the Guggenheim and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, they're one of us, and they don't really care, and they're not doing the opiates. So
yeah,
I mean,
well, it was clearly all about the money. You can see in internal documents and the reason those quotes are known is because there's been so many lawsuits filed against this company, and they go so far out of their way to make sure that certain members of the family are never deposed. So they settle for shitloads of money, and people know that, and so they go after him, and they want this one guy that was running around really pushing this to doctors. I think it's Richard Sackler or something like that, or Raymond Sackler. They do not want that motherfucker deposed under any circumstances, and they've been able to keep him clean of all that stuff. But the way they did it is, like, I guess when opiates were first, morphine and opiates people coming back from Vietnam and were getting hooked on this shit and then leading to heroin, and so there was a big dark cloud hanging over anything morphine or opiate related in the country. And so it was like the only people that can be prescribed this are people that are almost dead, and it's like end of life. Doesn't matter if they get addicted to something, they're going to die anyways. And so, but you couldn't give it to anyone else. And so what these motherfuckers did was like, how do we find a way to get it into more
mainstream?
How do we do it? And so that's when they went out of their way to fucking buy off doctors with those lavish vacations and promotional stuff, and push this drug under fake science that it wasn't bad for people. And that label was on there in as late as 2001, saying that, you know, hey, it's believed that this drug is less addictive than anything, or almost non-addictive. And they took that fucker off, and it's appeared nowhere since. But, you know, so I don't know, man.
In a different vein, I've been hearing more and more about the disparate treatment between how the media and our society treats the 80s crack cocaine craze, the influx of crack that took out black people, essentially, right? It was a black drug, versus the whitey, you know, being taken out by the opioid, where it's excused now, right? Oh, you know, we're the victims, the white people who are addicted to this stuff. It wasn't our fault at all.
Yeah.
And
No,
how
it's-
the media has completely treated those two things differently.
Well, the shitty part, when you talk about crack, you can't not talk about regular cocaine.
Crack is
And
whack.
Crack is whack. And, you know, the inner city is where the crack problems were. And sort of to hit those with these gargantuan years and decades in prison, whereas, you know, you get caught with blow on Wall Street, and it's like, get out of here, as if it's a different drug or any less, you know. I mean, it's how you could make that argument. I mean, it targeted the inner city, period. It did, and it destroyed families for decades. It took men out of the house and imprisoned them. It abandoned, you know, and we're seeing the results of it.
But they were never viewed as victims. They were never portrayed as victims.
But that's different. Heroin is a street drug, and coke and crack, those are street drugs. OxyContin was given to you by your doctor.
Yeah, but it's abused by millions.
Yes.
With, you know,
I'm telling you, dude,
not relying on the ankle injury or whatever, but I'm going to go get that because that's a badass high, and I don't have to shoot up heroin in the street. This is badass.
No, I understand.
I'm using it.
I understand your argument and what you're saying and why you would think that, but I've done both.
All I'm saying is not everybody who's addicted to opioids got on it because of a genuine injury or something that led to that.
More than you think. And I'll tell you what I do know, because I've been there. I got on it absolutely prescribed. I didn't ask for those drugs. Someone gave me those drugs because of neck issues and back issues. I didn't know they existed. And then it takes almost no time before you are addicted, and that's game changing. Now it's out of your control. Now you'd fucking rob your mother to get it. You know what I mean? People do.
Did you rob your mother?
I did not. No,
Pat.
I never went there.
Poor
And I could never rob anyone or anything like that. But you see people do horrible shit in the fight for that drug. Where if you're just like on the streets and you're just fucking buying whatever, I mean, dude, it was a lot. It felt better knowing, yep, doctor gave it to me. It must be good. They know what they're talking about. I mean, there is that personal feeling. Like, now, does that get out of control and it gets to an obvious point of like, this is just ludicrous at this point? Of course it does.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's why though. And people believe the war on drugs has been an absolute joke from day one. It has failed miserably and it's cost trillions of dollars. And it's time that we had stopped shaming people for this and like come up with real solutions to help people.
Oh, now when white people are addicted, it's time to stop shaming.
Oh, whatever. Time goes on. I mean, as people get more educated about stuff, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's a shitty thing to be. You already feel bad enough about yourself. You already feel like you've let everyone down and it's a shame. And that keeps a lot of people from seeking help. You wouldn't do that with cancer. Not saying that it's the same. I'm not. I know, because I know you're going to say that. People with cancer didn't have a choice in a lot of respect, but it's a tough fucking thing, and you don't want that shame. You don't want to let people down that you care about. So there is a shame involved there that really, if it goes by the wayside, would help progress to getting people legitimate help. Am I right?
All I'm saying is there's a difference now that Whitey's addicted.
I never said there wasn't.
That's all I'm saying.
Or the epidemic is so fucking big, we're seeing numbers of people being taken down like we've never seen in lifetimes.
Does your money work as hard as you do, Mike? You will spend upwards of 45 years working. Did you want to talk about that more?
No.
I thought
it's a weird transition, but that's all right.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
finish.
I'm done.
No, finish.
I'm done. Trust
finish,
me.
Mike.
Go read your spot. You're in the middle of your
my
spot.
what?
Your spot. You're in the middle of a spot.
No, go. Finish. I didn't mean to interrupt
I didn't
you.
have anything left.
Does your money work as hard as you do? You will spend upwards of 45 years working to support your lifestyle, provide for your family, and set aside money for retirement. Do you know if you'll be able to retire on your terms? Isis, do you know?
I do not.
How could you know if you don't have a plan? Let Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial help to make sure your money is working as hard as you are. Call Mark today, 248-626-2000.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
There's a guy in South Lyon who's probably going to get a lifetime of OxyContin, and no one's going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, the guy that got dunked in the acid.
God, dude.
This happened at the end of the original RoboCop.
Was it
awful, to an awful degree. You just pull that up, will you? The end of RoboCop.
Is it end of one or
I think a guy fell into a vat of sulfuric acid.
RoboCop or was it?
It was RoboCop.
It was okay. I know the scene you're talking about. The villain, yeah.
It
didn't go well.
It does not go well, man.
Dude, I read this story and it's like, it's out of South Lyon, not far from here, and I don't have a name yet on this. I don't know if there's been an update to the story, but it's the Michigan Seamless Tube Facility. South Lyon Fire Chief Robert Vogel said a call came into the department around noon, little after noon on Saturday, for a report of a man falling into a tube. Vogel was told the man had fallen into some chemicals or hot water and that he'd been removed by a coworker. What a hero that coworker is. Coworker, by the way, received burns on his hands and everywhere else. But he was not, they say, taken to the hospital. We arrived and found a gentleman that fell into a large vat of 160-degree sulfuric acid. That's the stuff that smells like eggs and is awful, right? Sulfuric acid.
Sulfur smells like eggs. I don't know if sulfuric acid does.
Okay, they use the acid for their tube process. They make the pipe and then they dip the pipe into the acid to make it stronger. Vogel said the man was put under a shower before being rushed to U of M. He's currently in the burn unit. The condition of the man when I saw him at the scene was bad. It was not good. He had burns to 100% of his body. The cause of the fall is unknown. Dude, that's right up there with wood chipper falling into, right? Honestly?
Yeah, the nerve endings, the exposed raw nerve, 100% of your body.
I've been where this guy is. Remember, I pulled that chair out of the fire, and it's like, dude, you cannot imagine what this guy in South Lyon and I went through. Like, just the sheer, like, the pain it's indescribable, man. And it's all about the nerve endings. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's torture. Torture.
I cut my finger the other day too, so I know how he feels.
That's totally, dude, that's insensitive. That's not. I was trying to put this in terms of that I could wrap my head around.
I've never seen it. It says acid bath, RoboCop.
I would say that's probably
Let's see it, Isis. Let's see here.
I don't know if this is it. Acid bath, RoboCop.
Well, no, like
I think it is, man. I think this is the end.
Yeah.
You guys made it. It looks like he's in this.
I haven't seen this in decades, but
that shot would have killed him.
Boom.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't he crawl out and he's all burnt up?
There's another scene I'm thinking of where someone fell like over the ledge into one.
I think you're thinking of. Honestly.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of.
See, look how painful that looks.
Oh.
That's how my hand looked for a couple weeks, dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See?
He's
See?
melting.
Yeah, that's not.
Why is he even trying to run? Where's he going? Oh,
God, what would you do? Like what?
what's the play?
Yeah, what?
Maybe you
Don't-
dive back in.
Yeah.
Just try to make it end faster.
Rolling can't help, right? In the stop, drop, and roll situation.
Yeah.
You're not on fire.
Maybe find some milk. Don't they say milk helps with burn? Like if you eat something.
Yeah,
really
water
hot.
will just make
That's
it
if you have like
worse.
peppers
Water makes
or
it worse.
something, Mike.
What?
It's like if you eat peppers.
I'm just saying hot. I know that milk
You
works
need
a little
base.
bit.
You need a
Oh.
base.
So if he could find a nice, like,
Honestly, like
gallon-
acid and base. Maybe it is. Maybe that's the play.
go find a nice gallon of 2%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't use water. You're gonna make it worse. I was trying to wrap my head around this, like 160 degrees, and it's like, okay, the hot tubs are they go up to like 102 degrees, right? And then they have an override you can do if it's like, all right, motherfucker, you want to get fucking dangerous, leave us out of this. We'll give you a key to unlock it, and we'll give you 4 more degrees. You can go up to 106. I've unlocked mine. We'll go to 106.
Mhm. Pretty fucking hot.
The difference between 102 and 106 is like a 6 magnitude fucking earthquake and an 8.
Man.
It's a big fucking difference, dude.
Add
and it's
54 degrees to that.
here's the deal. Okay, so when I get in, and let's say I've got it at a moderate 105 degrees in there, and I put my toes in, it's like, God damn it, fuck, and then it takes me 10 minutes to fucking finally like get in there.
Your penoozle tip.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's certain points in the body. The penoozle tip, the waist, is a big one where it's like if I could break that seal, and then head when you get the head underwater. But dude, add 55 degrees to that, and you
Plus
fall.
acid.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that part. Yeah.
My lord.
Oh, how does someone survive that? That's just brutal, dude. Absolutely brutal. Oh, it's poor guy. Poor guy. We honestly don't mean to make light of it. Not make light of it. Let's take a quick time out. I'm interested to see tonight on 60 Minutes. Did you see who's on there? Is
Oh, yeah. The
father
father-in-law of the father of the guy who the Church of Scientology.
Scientology, yeah.
And he
David
ta-
Miscavige, his father.
And the highlight I saw was him talking about his daughter-in-law, who's not been seen in 13 years.
Yeah.
David Miscavige's
Miscavige's
wife,
Shelley.
who's not been seen in 13 years.
Leah Remini filed a missing persons complaint a few years ago, and they returned baseless.
Wow.
She's like,
Baseless?
they didn't even research it. 13 years. This is his wife. She was everywhere with him, Shelley Miscavige. And so the father-in-law is on TV. He was bigly into Scientology for 40 years and famously bailed a few years ago. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see that, but we'll get into some other stuff. I thought that story on Billy Corgan too, finding his guitar. Did you read that last week?
Interesting, yeah, in Rolling Stone.
Rolling
right?
Stone. We can cover some of that stuff next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. Cast continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Mike and Jay, of course, Big E. And I mentioned just before the break there the story about Billy Corgan and him losing his guitar, his favorite guitar. It was a Fender, I believe. Or a Gibson. Was it a Gibson or a Fender? It was after a show at St. Andrews in Michigan, in Detroit, which is, immediately, this is a big piece in Rolling Stone this month about Corgan's guitar. Like, they came off stage at St. Andrews, and within 5 minutes, someone had walked off with this guitar that he'd been using. And, he's over the years filed police report and, that kind of thing, and sought of this. There's been rumors of this guitar turning up places, and it was always wrong. He even had a $10,000 no questions asked reward out there for its return. And, a few weeks ago, his fortunes changed, and a friend contacted him with a picture of a guitar that looked like the one. He'd been tricked before. Somebody says, "Hey man, I think this is your guitar." And someone had gone to the lengths of like having all these pictures of Corgan's original guitar, and he's got stickers on it, and this guy had placed the stickers in the exact spots and weathered them to look exactly as weathered as his did. Cigarette burns on the headstock.
Nice.
And
About
still,
$10,000.
No, I thought that's how he identified it, was cigarette burns in certain places that he only knew and had never disclosed were there.
Well, there was one of those, and then there was an initials like VM or something was carved in one spot that he'd never mentioned. So, but they said, as soon as he opened the thing at this particular time, it was like, oh, that's it. That's the one. And this is crazy. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like the level of musicianship these guys are, and like how important that is. Having a guitar that you use. Like, he recorded Gish, their first album, with that guitar. It's got a very distinct, heavy sound because of that particular guitar that he was using.
Yeah, that's what's remarkable, is how different the things can sound. I mean, it's the same fucking maker, the same model, and it's just like, no, it just sounds different.
They do. I will not buy a guitar. I will never go and buy especially any guitar really. But I've gone and I've had a Gibson Les Paul, and I've had multiple acoustic electrics over the years. I will not go buy one without taking a really fucking good guitarist with me because those guys can tell the difference between the good sounding ones and the bad ones. And so that's why the vintage ones are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for an original Fender Strat. They can be, you get a 59 Strat or Les Paul, those things, because they can't get the wood anymore. The wood's different. They've run out of the stock of wood. And so what little they have left at the Gibson factory is like just for, like Pearl Jam and Aerosmith. Steven Tyler needs a new guitar. They'll pull out this rarefied stock to make those. And so it can depend on who did the hard wiring that day in the place, because those are all assembled by hand. And so the wood, all that stuff matters to the sound of that guitar. And so especially back when his guitar was made, it was not like a well sought after year or anything like that for those particular brands of guitars. But some of them were really good and some of them sucked balls. And he happened to get one of the good ones. And so he loved the way it sounded, but it changed the entire sound of the Smashing Pumpkins, like their next albums.
See, I'm a Siamese Dream kind of guy, man.
I know. I like that album too.
Call me mainstream.
Melancholy.
That's the one I liked at first.
Well, then you're glad this was stolen.
Yeah.
I mean, this did wonders for the Pumpkins' career. I mean, let's be honest. But they're recording now again, and now that he's got his guitar back, he's using it to record. And so it was like, I don't know how this happened. So somebody stole Billy Corgan's guitar.
The balls, by the way. You look at some of these situations, like it's one of those things where if you say to yourself, just do something, don't look, act confident, you'll be there, right?
That's how you do it, man.
Right. He had to make this decision. There it is. It's right there. I'm just gonna walk by, take it, and walk as if I'm supposed to be there. Like, it just would be nuts though, because in my mind I'd just be like, oh my god, everyone's looking at me. Every single person just sees me do this. Like, I couldn't be able to.
Well, it was a Fender Strat, which is, you're talking about Hendrix and, Eric Clapton. These are the guitars they play. The Fender Strat is one of the most famous guitars on the planet. This was one made in the 70s. It gets stolen. How do you steal Billy Corgan's guitar and then be like, anyone want this? Like, makes its way around.
Yeah, how do you
And
move that?
How do you move that and not be like, dude, this is Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins. This is his guitar that was stolen.
Sorry.
It ends up in a yard sale in Michigan.
Yeah,
and
the lady paid $200 for it, right?
Yeah, told her husband she paid $100 because he
Yeah.
would have killed her. She spent $200. She doesn't even play guitar. She's like,
She just liked the look of it.
Paint
like,
job.
This would be neat to hang on the wall.
it's pretty cool paint job. It ends up in her attic for a decade. And so one of her friends sees an article and is like, that kind of looks like that weird guitar you have in the attic. They pull it out and sure as shit. She ends up trying to contact Billy Corgan like 6 months ago and never gets a reply back. And finally they're like, I think that might be an actual guitar. And so they end up going through another route, like to get to him and successfully do. He ends up like, it's not going to be it, I'm sure. He goes over there and he's like, as soon as he opened the case, yep, holy shit, that's it. That's the one. And it's like, so is that 10 grand reward still on the table?
Yeah. What did he give her?
He said no, she didn't want any money. She didn't want any money at all. And I was like, still, how quickly did you go? Okay, cool. Well, see you later.
God,
Did you push or?
Yeah, to me,
what she wanted was an autographed guitar, so we gave her an autographed guitar. Not that one.
I don't know his worth, and I get if she was just being really cool and but man, maybe he still couldn't have thrown her 5
Seriously,
or something.
a lot of people in that situation go, no, it's okay. But God, would I love 10 grand,
Yeah.
Like, Billy, come on, man. You're fucking Billy Corgan. You just got your goddamn guitar back through this lady going to fairly big lengths to get it to you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have to do that shit.
And you think, like, did the Pumpkins ever have number one hit? Was Today a number one hit, or
That was up there.
they're up there, right? They had a bunch of them. The world is a vampire, Despite all my rage, I am still.
See, to me, it's his voice is more important to that band than the sound of the guitar.
Yeah, it is a unique voice.
Worth
and
$50 million. He still could. He should have just done it
I was
anyway.
gonna say,
whether she had asked for it, he could have still just been like, you know what? I appreciate it. That's really cool that you're gonna do something like that, but I said I'd give 10,000, and here it is.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if you want to know the value, like back in the day, this has all changed now. Now it's not worth shit. But back in the day when the Pumpkins hits were around, I was talking to T-Roy about this earlier. Like, to have a number one single, top 5 single, top 10, top 20, like once you break the top 40, whole nother element of shit kicks in, and they start paying attention to your song. You've heard like, well, it's number 19 with a bullet. That just means that this week it got more spins than it did last week. If radio stations spin your album or your song 1,000 times over that week, and then the next week they spin it 997, you lose your bullet status. It's a death trap. So for these guys that get into that crack the top 20, when you get into 19, all of a sudden you automatically get kicked in and picked up by major market stations everywhere automatically. And so you hit stratosphere, and that's when you can launch into the top 10, top 5. And the payout for those, you have a number one single in the country, really top 5. You're talking about royalties that pay you probably $750,000 a year. So you can imagine the money that's being made when you have a few top hits. You're making retarded money. Now
Peel off a couple grand. Come on, man.
Give her 20 grand. Give her 50 grand. Fuck, what do you care? And I think he's the sole writer of publishing of those songs. He was the guy. So
Speaking of the guy, Mike, speaking of the guy, insurance, we all need it. Most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who provides it. Well, let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services change all that. Brent has over 30 years in the business. He offers all types of insurance coverage, auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. Call Brent Wasik at 734-455-1900 and get a free, no obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900.
Did you see this last week, Jay? There's a high school, Pleasant Valley School, maybe in Pennsylvania, and the district's, the district's superintendent is apologizing bigly because there was a student that was kept off the stage for the choir.
Dude,
Mike,
I can't get over the fact that bigly is just a word now. I'm sorry. I know this is the middle of nowhere. It's just an absolute word in our vocabulary.
Yeah, it's great.
I say it all the time.
I think it's a damn shame that kofefi isn't just a normal word too. I think kofefi has not been explained properly.
Nobody knows what the use is though. Bigly just,
Yeah.
Bigly fits so many things.
Bigly. Do you have to say it? I think it's getting to the point where I'm not even saying it like Bigly.
No, I just say
it's just
it.
like Bigly. Yeah. Oh, Bigly, man.
Yeah, it's Bigly.
So this happens during a district-wide concert at this school. Megan Ramirez turned to Facebook and she's posting a couple photos. One photo shows a group of junior high students on stage during a performance. The second's a wider shot that shows her 13-year-old daughter in a wheelchair beside of the stage. She's supposed to be in the choir.
Oh, she's chaired up proper over there, off the stage. Look at that.
Look at that. The fuck is wrong with you, school? Like, really?
And by the way, even if you don't really give a shit about this kid, even if you don't really care, even if you're just like, fuck, it's a pain. In this,
you're going to get in trouble, right?
That's the thing. In this day of social media, my lord, how do you think this isn't going to come back to you?
I'm sorry, but how you don't look at a student like that and just have some human empathy and just go, that's fucking wrong, man. That girl's part of this choir, you know, like
somebody made a call that it's too dangerous because this is up. It's risen up.
They didn't bring the ramp. They were missing the ramp. And so at that point, this story could have gone one of two ways. This way, which is horrible, or another way where the student body rallies around her and now this is the fucking stage. You know, you could see that happening too, where it's like, look what these students did and not leave one of their teammates behind.
Dude, Mike, when you talk about the kids that get the kid, he's special needs kids gets a touchdown or this or that, they do that for PR. Like, this is the proof. Like, these kids didn't give a fuck that this kid is on the side of the stage.
There's another option. You pick her up, carry her up there, and put her on your knee like a ventriloquist dummy.
Now, I know
I would have allowed her to do that.
I know.
I'd have set her right on my knee.
Do you imagine how? Oh, dude, that would be so.
I'd even held her by the back. I'd have held her by the neck, you know, so she didn't fall over.
What's the word I'm thinking of, dude? That would be just so. I don't know.
Awful.
Yeah, there you go. No, demeaning. Yeah, demeaning would work. No, the dad shows up kind of late, as dads are known to do. You know, when their kid's in a choir thing. You know, 13-year-old, he doesn't really give a shit. It's like, I gotta be there. Support old Maddie, and he sees Maddie sitting there in front of the stage, all the way to the left by herself. And she says her husband arrives right when the show's starting. I mean, the lights are off. They can't wait any longer.
You know what he was doing? He was sitting in the lobby or whatever, and just like, okay, how late? Okay, I can go. Looking at his phone, checking stats.
What am I gonna tell her? Okay, Maddie's gonna sing first, and then how the fuck do I get out of here without seeing the rest of this bullshit?
Can you throw a couple 2x4s down and roll her right up?
You would think, dude. The husband's like, hey, so how's she getting up on the stage? And he's like, I guess I had faith in the school district that they had a way to get her up there. The students would stand with her. That wasn't the case. Jim Spellhog, the superintendent, says he learned about the incident after they could not find a ramp for the stage ahead of the Monday night's performance. And I'm thinking the same thing. Well, then toss her up on the stage.
Or if it's too embarrassing to lift her right there in the front, then go behind. There's black curtains there. Lift her up there. You know, take her out of the chair.
Those curtains, though, Jay?
Nobody knows what's behind the curtain, Mike.
No one's allowed back there.
Right? Heave her out of the chair.
That image.
Lift the chair up there. Put her in the chair.
So bad.
Dude, what I mean, grab two of the choir guys. Grab her by an arm and go, see Daisy. And you just kind of lightly, not violently, lightly toss her up onto the stage. She's not going anywhere. Then you just pick the chair up.
Dude.
You chair her up, and then you're off and running.
Plus, if she's anything like me, the few times I was forced to be in one of these things, and I didn't learn really how to sing, so I was just in the crowd kind of lipping shit. Now she's like
Wait, you were in the choir and lip syncing?
Not even lip syncing, just kind of trying to lip sync.
Do you remember being in these, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. How the West was won.
The West.
Go west, young man, go west. That's where the living is best. No?
Did we have to take one class, like choir class?
No, you're music.
Music.
Yeah,
was that middle school?
Elementary, middle.
Yeah.
Not high school. Yeah.
Not high school.
Definitely didn't have to take it in high school.
I remember being horrified in middle school because you know that band area where it's got kind of that choir layout for the students, and you're standing there, and we had a teacher, and he's just standing there at the piano, ding ding, and it's like la 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 la, and he's like, I'm gonna play a G, and he does that, and one by one we had to go up there, and it was like me at 10.
Dude, you had to sing like a solo,
and it was like, I want to see what your range is.
Oh, that's awesome. No way.
And it was just like,
Livonia was sweet.
And it was like, no, really belt it out. It's like, fuck, no, I'm not going to belt it
You're
out.
Standing there with your little rat tail hair.
Blonde rat tail. He's no, you're not a falsetto. You're not baritone. You're more of a mid-range. I was like, can I go stand over there now? You thanks for humiliating me.
But you didn't. You never had to do like a play, like a musical.
Yeah, sure we did. But
Yeah.
that was like day one of class, and it was like, and there's chicks in this room. I
Yeah,
can't
that
go up there.
sucks, man.
Oh.
I never had to do that. I did have a line in how the West was won though. It was silver, silver, silver in Nevada.
Did you say it like that?
I did.
Silver,
Did you have to
silver,
step
silver.
out and say it?
Yes,
like-
I had to step forward. It was like, this big moment.
Do you have any idea how critical the quick pauses between the second and third silvers?
Silver, silver, silver in Nevada.
Yeah. See that? Were you able to
It's
pull that
key.
off? I'd
That
love to
was
see
key.
video of that.
That's not, dude. This was before video. Are you kidding me?
Well, I was the lead in our school play. Played a prince that went to America and then came back to his homeland.
Interesting.
Yep. I had
Like
to
to see
sing
that film.
songs about fish. 2 of them.
You were
Oh,
the,
really?
so you were the lead. Did you have
I
to
was a
remember?
motherfucking lead, son. I
What,
had the
what
whole.
year is this?
This is, I don't know what year it was.
Did
8th
you-
grade, 9th grade.
Did you remember? You had remembered lines and everything.
Hold on, stop. 8th or 9th grade?
Eighth
You're
gra- I'm-
singing the lead in a fucking play?
Yes.
God damn, really?
You didn't know that? Yes. Dude, I had
No, I'm talking about like 4th grade, 3rd grade, silver, silver, silver in
Dude.
Nevada. You're 8th or 9th grade
listen.
lead?
Look, listen.
God.
This was, dude.
I want to see those tryouts.
You want to know how this happened?
Who failed?
Because you had to take a drama class, right? It must have been 8th grade. The teacher was named Mrs. Smith. I don't remember her first name. And I was the kid where it was like, hey, we're giving out parts for the school play coming up in we'll have tryouts or whatever she said. And it was like, who wants to be blah blah blah. And you'd sign up and it was like, fuck that. I want to be rock or tree.
Mhm.
I want to be that. I'll just stand there like in a ball on the stage. Leave me the fuck alone. And she's like, no. You will
Be
not be
my
the
lead.
rock or tree in this play. And I was like, just give me the rock. It's a perfect role for me. I don't have any lines. I can be still. She's like, you're going to be my lead.
Oh,
and it was
man.
like, what?
Nightmare.
It was that moment where it's like the fucking Rocky Balboa music comes up. And it's like, yeah, I'll be your fucking
Was
lead.
that really your reaction? Be
No,
honest.
I was horrified. She's like, you can do this. You can do this. You're going to be you're the prince. I was like, well, all right. Dude, I had a shitload of lines and had to sing 2 songs solo on stage
Okay,
from the
8th or-
whole school.
8th or
Yeah.
9th grade. This is potentially on video.
This is 8th grade, Mrs. Smith. It was middle school for sure.
Potentially on video, Mike.
And
It
there
would
was-
have been the big ass video that had to be put on a damn tripod with a big light behind
Can
it.
you- I would give E's life to get 1 copy of that video.
Well, throw
I
it out
would.
there. What school was this?
Riley Middle School in Livonia. And Mrs. Smith, 8th grade. And I can't remember the name of the play, but I remember I was a prince. And I think I was from America, but I traveled to Europe or vice versa. I was from Europe, traveled to America, and learned this shit.
Sure, your name wasn't Fievel the Mouse.
Yeah, very
So,
sure.
but you sang about fish.
Something about fish. Yeah, I had 2 solo songs. And there was one point. Oh, I can't believe I'm bringing this up. This is called recalling horrible memories. But second performance, and look, it's draining when you have a performance and it goes so well that it's just like the crowd is feeling you, you're feeling them, and
Oh,
it's like,
emotionally, I'm sure.
I mean,
right?
when you
Like,
get off that stage to rave reviews, it's draining. It is. And so the second performance, I was exhausted. I'll be honest. And there was one point, and I believe it was rather early in the thing
Oh,
in the
no.
play, and I forgot a line on stage, and I had to go line, and there was someone on the side stage who was like, "He said he'll have the 2 silver coins instead of 1," and then I was off. Oh yeah, and then I got in my groove and I
Got
was
back
fine.
in the
But
pocket. Good.
I've never forgotten about it, Jay. Honestly, I mean, it's tortured me all these years to have that kind of a gaffe and a live performance.
That's why we write out this whole show every day.
Exactly. So
Go to
there's
page 42.
There's no
John.
staff moves. Dude, if that video is there,
Please, God.
I swear to God, I kind of remember somebody like
Oh,
one
someone-
of those giant cameras in
Yeah.
the back filming it. It would have been a one cam shot, but still, if anyone knows what the fuck I'm talking about, please. Probably a program out there somewhere too, Jay. So yeah, this poor girl here, she's on the side of the stage.
So who's suing who?
I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna sue.
Yeah.
Well, they probably will. So this lady is the mom is terrified, is horrified, and she was so sad she wanted to be up to her with her friends.
Who's been fired? Who's resigned? Tell me
Well,
someone's resigned. Over
I'm
this, Mike.
thinking, what's his Spellhog's name? Superintendent. Here's the thing: they didn't reach out to this family and apologize or anything for a long time. They wish they would have contacted her when they realized there was a problem. The mom says, I wish they would have called me when they realized there was a problem with the ramp not being found during rehearsals early in the day.
Yeah, boy.
Oh boy, so they knew 6 hours
that
prior
is-
to showtime,
Oh my God.
we can't ramp this broad up here. You know?
How special needs is she?
I don't know. Can't tell. It doesn't appear that she's got a tube in her mouth or a
Yeah, but
computer
I
pad in
just-
front of her.
I just wonder how much onus can we put on her? Like, hey, can you get me up there? Any chance I can get up there? Or is she really special needs?
See if you can zoom in there a little bit, E. She looks bummed.
She pledged.
Well,
That's such a
entirely.
bad image, dude. It just looks terrible.
I know.
And then she's singing, so she's singing to what, herself over there?
It's just such an awful. It's like, dude, really? Some people don't have it bad enough. You'd think that one fucking teacher, parent in the crowd, one of her friends in the choir would go, hey guys, this looks terrible.
Can we lift her
Can
up
we
or
lift
something?
Maddie up here
Yeah.
or not refuse to sing until she's up here? This is humiliating.
By the way,
nobody does that.
it's blurred, but this is a very loose, the outfits. I remember when you used to have to do stuff like this. That guys would be pants and a
We
shirt.
don't know what the
and,
theme is, E. We don't know
yeah,
what the
well,
theme
they
is.
look like they're wearing.
It could be the grunge era, the 1990s
there you
grunge
go.
era.
Maybe it
See
is.
a lot of flannel and jeans.
Tonight's performance of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Dun, 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 dun.
And maybe, I hate to even suggest this, but is it possible the egos on that choir team were so much that they didn't want her in the photo, shared up like that? I hate to say it, but
Anything's on the table right now, Mike.
But Spellhog is backpedaling right now. He's we hurt a student and the family, and that's unacceptable. But unfortunately, we can't go back and change that. All we can do now is move forward. And we will move forward in a manner where this is to the best of our ability. It does not happen again. Now the mom's going, oh, damage done. Damage done. So that tells me she's not, just going to let bygones be.
Bygones.
Mm-hmm. She had a second student was also left off the stage because of her wheelchair.
Oh, man.
Her mom couldn't even get a picture because she couldn't see her. They hope now with the help of the story when it comes to equality, the world will finally get the chance to know people aren't disabled. It's our environment that's disabled. Our environment is not allowing for them to be included. I would argue strongly with the notion that some people are not disabled, that nobody's disabled.
There's a reason she's not on the stage.
I'm not
because
kidding
of disability.
you. Dude, I'm not kidding you. I have seen disabled people. You guys have seen them, right?
Yes, I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah, exactly. There's nobody out there that's disabled. It's the environment that's disabled. No, hold on. Can we address the first sentence you said?
Just so easily solvable. A couple of 2x4s,
But you don't want to hit her, dude. I mean, what good does that do?
Hey,
Anyway.
got to tell you about the Hamlin Pub. 5 locations, Clarkson, Chesterfield, Rochester, and 2 in Shelby Township. Hamlin Pub offers a wide selection of craft beers. They have great happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m., and half-off appetizers on Monday. Check out all their specials at all 5 locations at hamlinpubs.com.
I would like to do that. How we doing for email, Jack?
We do have some email,
What
Mike.
do
If
we
you'd
got?
like to speak with us, you may write into the show. Send us your thoughts to email at detroitcast.com. Isis, do you have a couple things ready for me? I sent over. Okay, thank you. Could you pull up the picture that Tom sent over? Tom sent us a trough urinal. I'm catching up on episodes, but just heard about your love of the trough. I, too, am a fan with fond memories of peeing on a wall at the old Cleveland Municipal Stadium as a child. When up in the Sioux last weekend, we went to Antlers. If you've been to the
How far from the
Sioux,
nickel is that, by the way?
what's that?
How far from the nickel is that?
What?
The Sioux from the nickel?
Well, he said Cleveland, didn't he?
Well, even
Ohio? Isn't that where the nickel
even
was?
Cleveland is
The
Cleveland.
nickel's in
Toledo's-
Toledo.
Toledo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're 3.5 hours from.
Hmm.
Shit, what, 8 hours to the Sioux? I don't know. Between the nickel. Went up in the Sioux last week and went to Antlers. If you've been in the Sioux, you've eaten here. It's the restaurant with taxidermied animals all over the place and a loud whistle and siren that scares the shit out of people. Although they warn you before they go off now in these lawsuit happy times. Are you familiar with Antlers, E? I've been to the Sioux and I don't recall
I know
Antlers.
I've been there.
I've
and I
been there
don't
too.
recall- Yeah, I don't know.
I don't recall it.
Anyways, back to it. When I went to take a leak, I had to get a pic of the trough they have installed there. I question its efficiency. It's not very wide, and if you had to piss next to another guy, your arms would most likely be touching while standing side by side. If you both stood at an angle, it would work better. But if you both accidentally turned inward, there would be a chance of crossing the streams, and you
Yeah.
never cross the streams. It would be bad. Dude,
I've been
that's
oh
the most
boy.
awful trough
I've
I've
been to
ever
bars
seen.
with troughs like this before. Honest to God, I've been to some dump
Well,
hole bars where they've
this
had
is-
troughs that were basically not even like
This
barely
is
two
halfway
people.
between a urinal and a trough.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
That's
that's like-
barely a two-person thing, and it's like really uncomfortably so.
And what is the play there? Do you guys butt cheek to butt cheek it and both shoot your streams?
No,
Out?
you just stand there like a man and whip it out and pee in that thing, man.
Oh man, because if my elbow or shoulder touches your elbow or shoulder, dude, I might turn and just
That's
accidentally
Tom's
whiz on you.
problem.
Like
That's Tom's problem. Look at
Startling.
the look at the pipe above that I guess
Yeah.
is the flush mechanism. Like, look at how nasty that is.
yeah. Someone did not think this through before they brought the team into it.
That's the worst trough ever.
Yeah,
Definitely in the state of Michigan.
yeah. I don't even like the. You know what? Just ice and a hockey puck. That's all you need. You know. What the hell they got going on there?
Kevin writes in concerning kanji tattoos. Of course, we talked about this with respect to
Sure.
Grande and her stupid hand tattoo on her
Small-
stupid little rubber
That
hand.
small barbecue grill. I
Yeah,
believe.
that was weird. Kevin says, my wife and I both got kanji tattoos, meaning eternal love, about 9 years ago. That's nice.
Please tell me it didn't say eternal love.
We did check with 3 different sources and we're convinced. And we were right. When my wife was getting her epidural, when my son was born, the anesthesiologist said, "Oh, eternal love." So
No,
she must have a
went,
tramp.
"Ooh,
She must have a
eternal
tramp
love."
stamp of eternal love. She got a tramp stamp of eternal love.
that what it says?
Well, she's getting an epidural.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kevin.
She got an eternal love tramp stamp.
Kevin looks at it as
Very
he's
good.
just banging away.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I felt vindicated, says Kevin. Keep up the good work, gents. Oh,
Does
we
he
will.
aim for that, by the way, when it's go
Probably.
time?
Probably. Jason writes in, Biggie is wrong again.
Oh boy.
Hello, gentlemen. Using this term loosely. I'm a bit behind, but I'm currently listening to the argument about Jackson's Neverland Ranch in a carnival-like setting. I agree that it is not a carnival-like
Oh,
setting.
I'm right.
even
I'm right.
close.
Sorry, I'm right. Sorry.
Also, Biggie said you can't ride rides like the Blue Streak at 7 years old. Remember him saying that?
Yes, and it's not true.
I beg to differ, says Jason. I am raising currently an 8-year-old. He is a big, badass football player in it. And last year at 7 years old, he rode the Millennium Force roller coaster at Cedar Points 11 times in a row. I'm raising a man, unlike Eric's parents. If the child is tall enough to ride the ride and has the balls, they can ride anything. Good
11
day,
times in a
sirs.
row. Why wouldn't he go on another ride? It's
It's a
terrible.
badass ride, dude.
Blue Streak?
I have no problem with him doing
No,
the Millennium
you
Force.
didn't
11
listen.
times.
Millennium Force,
Yeah.
Oh, Millennium Force? Oh.
Yeah.
11 times in a row.
I could see doing that
Corkscrew
one.
11 times in a row, and you're an idiot. Blue Streak 11 times in a row, you're an idiot.
Okay, Millennium Force.
Millennium
yeah, I could see
Force,
that.
oh, I'm in.
You know, this is kind of an old school email in that it calls out E's parents. Remember how a lot of people used to do that?
Oh, yeah.
That's calmed down quite a bit. There's a lot of blame being thrown at Mr. and Mrs. Fady.
Lots
for a
of
long
shade
time.
at the Fadies.
Yeah,
for
there
sure.
really was.
Well, I think Mrs. Fady turned the franchise around when I had the talk with her, and she started donating to things. She sent bread over here. I mean, she was making peace
Her
offerings
attitude
left and
has
right.
improved.
Oh, tremendously. And all of a sudden, she was, she's acknowledging the fact that her son is employed. Wanting to establish which one pays him, signs his checks. So there's been a give and take between me and Fran.
Let's be very clear. Her son is not employed. He's a
Okay.
subcontractor. Bone Job writes in. Hello,
What happened to
Bone Job.
that guy?
Hey, fags! During your social media discussion, Etard admitted that he's been using social media as a means to build his brand for many years now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really stood out to me, says Bone Job. He has been actively working toward building a brand for 10 years, and this is the result.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would have been, Bone Job, had he not been working on building that brand.
It's harder than you think.
Yep.
It definitely is harder.
Keep
than
going, Aegis. You're doing
I'm
good.
trying. Making memes now. That's my new thing. Tony memes.
They're actually pretty fucking funny,
Tony the
too.
cat.
Tony the cat's doing. I'm gonna get him famous.
They're not bad, dude.
Michael writes in, was I the only one that thought the kid narrating the Kia Telluride commercial during the Super Bowl sounds like Keaton Jones? So if anybody doesn't remember this commercial, this is the one, it was an ode to white people. It's basically Kia was sending out like
Yeah, I
giving
didn't think I saw
props
this
to,
one.
to the forgotten man,
Yeah.
and it was just a bunch of Southerners and things like that. Isis, do you have this?
Kind of
Pull it-
American flags.
Pull it up and see if you think this kid narrating this sounds like Keaton Jones. Of course, let's remind people who Keaton Jones is.
Why do people got to bully?
Yeah, here's a kid who's bullied. Turned out to be a racist, white supremacist.
Right. Dad's
that-
got white power tattoos and throwing up white power hand signs.
So remember that kid's voice, that little boy. Why everybody got the bully?
Why did I gotta be mean? Why do people gotta be mean?
And then listen to this commercial.
We're not famous. There are no stars in the sidewalk for us.
Why did they gotta be mean?
No statues in our honor.
Why they gotta bully?
We're just a small Georgia town of complete unknowns. The closest thing to a world stage is 81 miles away.
It's pretty
and
close,
at
huh?
the
Colton,
end of
dude.
the night,
What?
That's Colton. That kid's not even Keaton. That kid doesn't even have a hair lip.
Our football careers,
Yeah.
they never took off.
Yeah, I hear it, Mike.
Clearly, they loved Keaton. What's his
His
fucking
delivery.
name?
Keaton Jones's delivery was spot on.
Keaton Jones. Why they gotta do that? Why they gotta bully, Mom? Why they gotta be mean? Keaton was so powerful, his vocal register. They hired him,
This
but
company
they knew.
they kept the racist white supremacist piece of Keaton out of it.
Yes,
It's
we
beautifully done.
can't show your face. It's not because of the disgusting hair lip. That's not it. It's the fact that your entire family is like proved racist as shit, and so that's why we can't have your image up there. But the voice is legit. We'll pay you the same, and we're gonna have this little cowboy boy.
Maybe it's just Southern boy. It's just
He said, "That's
Yeah.
what it is." I have to do that every time I talk. Why they gotta be mean, Mama? Why they bully? Why do they do that? I just want no more kids to be hurt, Mama.
Cheryl writes in. I call bullshit on Elizabeth Warren. Well, you're not the only one, Cheryl. My great-grandmother did fuck a Native American, and from that fuck, my mother's father was produced. That makes my mother 1/4 Native American. That makes me, says Cheryl, 1/8 Native American. Elizabeth Warren lied. She took an opportunity from someone who rightly deserved it. She's full of shit with that. That's what my family told me crap. My mother is one of 7 children and didn't get any special privileges to help her pay for college. Did Elizabeth get special help? I'd sure like to get special help to finish my college education. Well, look into it, Cheryl.
Does 1/8 get you into the club? 1/4 does.
Yeah, we were talking to somebody about that recently, and they had looked into it, and I can't remember if it was 1/8 or just 1/4 that gets you in.
Yeah, I think this guy had a case of the ass because he was 1/8 and thought that automatically gained him citizenship. Gang. He didn't have to be initiated into the gang or what. He would just automatically was in.
Yeah, and of course you want that casino money. That's what you want.
Kidding me? I mean, ability to get drunk all day and own a casino. I mean, like, dude, yeah, that's awesome.
The dream.
But I thought 1/8 does not get you in.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No matter what kind of headdresses you're wearing, I don't think it does.
So 1/1024th probably doesn't.
It's
get
a
you
long
anything.
shot. It's a long
It's a
shot.
long
You can
shot for
apply,
Elizabeth, yeah.
but they're not going to seek you out. They're not showing up at your practice to evaluate your skills. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think that's going to get her in though.
We will save the rest for tomorrow.
Very good. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. This might be quite a long drive home for you gentlemen, so we'll get you out of here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do it again then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Listen, sugar.